Brian here from quantlabs.net. Okay, so I thought I'd put together our basically our ability to build, compile, link wxWidgets using obviously C++ in Ubuntu Linux. I only could go so far with some of the Mac development, specifically around the IDE, be it Eclipse or Netbeans. So I just chose, I'm going to try to replicate the same thing in Linux. So first thing is, I'm using VirtualBox here. I've talked about it numerous times, how to set up your own VirtualBox or virtual machine. So what I've done is actually, in here are some of my notes on how to build out the environment that I'm using. I am using same instructions as you'll find for wxWidgets to build out the in Linux. Let me just pull up my notes here. I guess I don't have them. Okay, I'm gonna just set everything up. Okay, so going to go into my documents. Okay, let me just see if I can hopefully get this. Okay, we want, okay, it doesn't matter. So here are my notes, and everything's in here. There's a couple of checks that you need to go through. Specifically, what you're wanting to do is you're going to get a configuration build. You'll get some warnings on GDK. The library you have to include in the lib pass, so I included those and how to install that. Also how to add it to your bash profile in your user profile. So there's numerous tests or tips I have here for anybody who may struggle with that. So once you get all that set up, you can do typical the make install. Okay. Now the difference is, in my build here, you'll see that I've got my typical wxWidgets 3.1 current version. It asks you to build out this GTK build folder, and in there you can then basically build out all your usual stuff I've demoed in the wxWidgets. But if you do an ls list of what's available in there, you'll notice all the usual object files that get built out, and it separates them from the source code and the rest of the dependencies in the library. But the good thing is you do have the typical samples directory. So let me go in there. So here's all the samples. Now I've shown this before in my Mac demo, so I'll just show you the two that I'm kind of interested in. Where's my MLD or MDI? Okay, so I'll show you that one. That builds no problem. Okay, so we have the MDI, I've shown this before, blah, 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 blah. The menu here. The other one that I'm looking at for a layout is this one, Ribbon. A little more modern, used in office applications, and it's pretty good. So there you go, it works, everything's working, the wxWidgets, and the build was actually a lot faster than on Mac. So we've got that working. Next step for me is to load up my Netbeans and try to get the configuration for it to work with wxWidgets on any projects that I work on. So about the Netbeans. So I'm going to use Netbeans for now. I could probably flip back and forth between this and other IDEs until I settle with one I like. But this one is free. So when you try to download it, what you're looking for is the one I chose for this environment in Ubuntu's. I chose everything. Reason being is I'll be using interactive brokers as well, which contains Java. And then on top of that, I'll be using the C++ one as well. So I've downloaded that version. So while I have you here, I wanted to show you how to work with it. Okay, so like I said, if I go into my downloads, we've got Netbeans there. That's the latest version. So I'm going to run it, but I know that it's not executable. How do I know that? Because I do an ls minus l. This will give you the parameters or permission levels on that file, on this file here, Netbeans 8.1 linux.sh. And the sh is a shell script. So that is basically a shell script that you can run. So you can just do a C, actually guys. So who am I as a user? Who am I as that user? Okay. So as that user, I'm not obviously root, so I have to do what I want with sudo. So with sudo, what I'm going to be doing here is to do a chmod plus x on the Netbeans shell script. Okay, so everybody asks me, how do I do this trick here? If I go chmod plus x for executable, and then go net, press tab, and then it will complete what it's available in that list for file names. So that's just a trick you can use. Tab for that. And let me just get that password sorted out. Okay, so if I look at the permissions, where is history doesn't have it for whatever. Netbeans. Okay, so if I show you now, remember here in the chmod, right here, I've added the X for executable. So guess what? Now we have the X. This wasn't here before. So now we have executable. And in this Ubuntu, it turns green, which means it's now executable. So I can run it. But again, you always got to run as root access, because I don't have root. I'm not running as root, so I always got to use sudo. So I just go with whatever I'm doing, I go dot slash netbeans to run that script. Oops, gotta run that one. Okay, so off she goes and runs it. So this is for, oh great, I don't have my JDK installed. Oh, this is a good lesson for everybody. Okay, so I don't think I have my JVM installed. Program we want is preferably not OpenJDK. We want the actual hotspot one. So let me just type in the apt get. Let me just see here, apt get install Oracle, I guess JDK 8. That's the current version of it. Let's see what we do here. I can't remember half the time in Linux. So you want to make sure you load in the Oracle one, also known as a sunspot. So I can just see here. Where is my? Here we go. So this is what you want right here. Okay, that's the one you want to run. So let me just run these commands here, just to match it all up. Okay, paste, go. So it's going to download it, press enter to continue, yes. Okay, so we have it installed. Now we update. Just do this sudo apt get update. So this will update all the available packages I've downloaded. So we'll update them to the latest versions. May take a while. And last but not least is we want to install this guy right here, the Oracle JDK. So let me just let this finish running. Okay. Oh, we're done. Cool. Okay, so I'll do a paste there. So now we are going to install our JDK version 8 from Oracle, not the open one, because there's a lot of compatibility problems I've noticed with, specifically with interactive brokers. A lot of people don't know that, and they get messed up there. So try to stick with the Oracle one, even though I'm not a big fan of Oracle, but sometimes you gotta run with the beast to get things done. All right, so wow, this takes a while. Oh, all right, glorious 58%, 60%. So almost done. Glad to have you along here to show you how to get Netbeans running on Ubuntu. All right, we'll be done in a sec here. Okay, and then we'll have to rerun that script that we just set up for the Netbeans. One of the reasons I use Ubuntu is just clearly to run everything that you're doing here. It's not to be lazy, it's just to get things done and cleanly installed as possible. Because if you use it in other ways, especially if you are not highly experienced in it, you're going to mess up a lot and you're going to run into further problems. Better just to use something simple at the beginning. Once you're more experienced with it, then work with, for instance, building from source and so on and so forth. So let's see the version that we're running. So now we have Java version 8, 1.8. So we can verify all that because we can run the Java virtual machine, but let's see if we can run the compiler. Yes, we can run the compiler there using that Java C right here. So we're all good. Okay, so that means we can now rerun our Netbeans script. This should work now. Where did I mess up? Oh, no, there we go. Okay, I was just slow. Okay, so it is working. Okay, so we're going to install this fun set of languages we don't need. We just need C++ and the Java. And for those that are watching along, we don't need ME, we don't need EE. That's Enterprise and Mobile Edition. All we care about really with the Java is just the standard edition, SE. But hey, why not? We like to complicate our lives. So you don't really need that stuff, but we don't need Glassfish either, but hey, why not? Glassfish is a Java server, application server for web development or to enable web, but that's pretty well obsolete now. This may take a while because it's only at 1%. So why don't I stop this and continue once we're complete. Okay, so guess what, we're done. We're finished installing Netbeans. So let's confirm that we can run Netbeans on our Ubuntu here. So let's just do that. Program Netbeans currently not installed. Ha ha ha. Something tells me I know what the problem is. Netbeans. We know it's installed. So let's do this. Find. It's a trick that I like using. Name Netbeans. And we'll just do a star for anywhere on the system. So let me just clean up here. in the meantime. Interesting. Oh, well, we have this icon here, so I know that should load up our NetBeans that we want. So let's do a search here on Google. Wow, my system is slow for a big reason. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do with wxWidgets install, no, actually configure. If you're wondering why the system's slow, this virtual machine, it's only set it at 768 meg. That is definitely not enough. Configure. Configure NetBeans. Okay. So again, for those that are new, you can easily set your memory by just going under here, settings, but I go under, I think it would be system. Yeah, so you can set your base memory here, but you can't do it while the machine is on, the virtual machine. So we've got our NetBeans running. Let me just pull up, where's my okay. So we are looking for this story here. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. You know what I'm going to do? Stop the video once again and configure. It's Brian again from quantlabs.net. Okay, so I've spent numerous wasted hours trying to get wxWidgets to work with both the NetBeans and Eclipse IDEs. I've searched all over the internet and other people are coming across the same thing. So I thought, you know, there's got to be a IDE in Linux that will work with wxWidgets. Fortunately, I may have found something. I have here something called Kholate IDE, and here is how you install it into your Ubuntu. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. Didn't have any issues with it. So that's somewhat resolved. Now, the other thing is this is Kholate here itself. Okay, and it's a pretty light version of Kholate, and it's I guess the latest version, 2016 here in May 30th, 2016. So let me just show you another example here. So this is the current version. This is just a test WX frame using wxWidgets 3.x, I believe it was. So this is the code that it will pre-configure everything with, and it works just fine. So we've got here this WX crafter, this other bitmaps. So let's see what we got here. So it's this IDE is very similar functionalities you would get with any other typical Eclipse or NetBeans. So you get here, when I clean it, 0 errors, and 0 warnings. But when I build it, it goes off and it does all these separate compiles on all the main files here, the main dialog, WX crafter bitmaps. So it's going to compile it, which it's doing right now, as you can see here. And we'll come back with a 0 warning, 0 errors, and now we can run it. I'm not sure, but there is another way to do it. So if you come under here, build, run, note this hotkey, Control F5, like in Visual Studio, where you can just execute, and there's our dialog, okay? Nothing fancy, but it works, okay? So let's try something else here. I believe this is the frame. So let's try out, so I can just show you what it looks like. So now we're gonna create a new project. You see, you have here under GUI, all these different types of projects for C++. So we have console. Okay, so we can create a wxWidget console app. And also we've got some other stuff, but we'll just stick with the GUI. So here we have obviously the wx frame, which we did this one, wx dialog, so we'll try that out. And then we have here this XRC, all this other frameworks. Now the Qt, you know my experience with that, no go. So let's try the wxWidgets dialog. Let's see what that comes up with. Okay, so we'll call this test wx dialog. We'll call it next. So here you gotta be very careful where you create your frame. So I'll just call this CPP, create new folder. We will call it test wx dialog. Okay, so that's what we're going to call it. No. Okay, so this is open source stuff. So if we want to create a folder, here I'll do it the other way. Do it the old-fashioned way. Go here, so we're going to create a new folder called CPP wx dialog. Okay, so hopefully the IDE will recognize that. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, so that's what we're going to create. That's what that's the location. Go to next. Use all the regular toolchain stuff. So now we've got here. Oh, that's a bit of a problem. Maybe not. Let me just try to build this. Let's see what happens here. So you're building out. How many folders we got, or how many files? So we got, again, 4 folders. So this is a dialog that we're wanting to, but it is compiling. Cool. So I'm fairly new at this, so leave me alone if I'm messing up here. But so far so good. Okay, again, 0 errors, 0 warnings. Awesome. So let's see if we can run it. And there's no run option here. I don't know why. Project only, mem check. Okay, let's just try build. Let's see if it runs this particular one. Build, execute. Oh, it looks like we are now running the dialog. So it's doing something here. Okay, so we got that. Let's try just to make sure. No hocus pocus stuff here. So we're going to try to rerun our frame. Let's go exit. Oh, okay, so I guess somehow. But at the end of the day, this is working, it looks like. And that's all we care about, just to test stuff. And it looks like it's loading using, it's got to be using the current version of wxWidgets, which is 3.1. So far, so good. So let's see our output. Any other things that we should be on the lookout for? It's using CLang, and we should be good. So the conditions of this to properly work is if this Codelite stays stable, because if it's like code blocks where it crashes a lot, this may not be the best solution, but for now it seems to work, and that's all I care about, so I can proceed with other tests. Okay, so we're done there.